Alrighty, well in lesson 20 we're going to be learning about the least common multiple as well as reviewing what it means to be a multiple. So a multiple just means that you're counting by a certain number. So if we're talking about multiples of say 3, just start counting by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So these would all be multiples of 3. And you can even do multiples of a big number like 15. Multiples of 15 would be 15, 30, 45, 60, etc. So that's all we mean when we say multiple. Now, the main thing we want to focus on today is the least common multiple. And I don't know if you get mixed up, but sometimes I get mixed up between the least common multiple and the greatest common factor. So let me give a little review of the greatest common factor, GCF. So the greatest common factor, let's say you're trying to find the greatest common factor between 15 and 21. What you would do is list all the prime factors of each of those numbers and then circle where they overlap. So let's say 15 would be 3 and 5. 21 would be 3 and 7. So the greatest common factor of 15 and 21 would be 3, because look, we can circle a 3 in both of the factors. So the greatest common factor of 15 and 21 is just 3. Now let's say that they both had a 3 and a 5. Let me just make this up, okay? Then we would be able to circle a 3 and a 5, multiply those, and we would say, oh, the greatest common factor is 15. But I just made that up, so just so you understand what to do if there's multiple ways that they're overlapping. So I'm going to put a little key word here, overlap. For the greatest common factor, you look where they overlap. Alright, so that was all review. Let's now talk about the least common multiple. And to find the least common multiple, you do kind of the same thing. You write each number as a product of prime numbers. So let's find the least common multiple of, say, 18 and 81. So 18 we have 2 times 3 times 3. 81 we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Actually, let's find the least common multiple of 18, 81, and 500. Because you can do more than 2 numbers. So 500 would be 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. So for the least common multiple, what you do is you look at each of the prime factors. So you say, okay, 2. Which number has the most 2's? Well, this one only has 1. This one has 0, this one has 2. So we go with the 2. There's 2 2's. Alright, now about 3's. Which one has the most 3's? Well, this one has 2, this one has 4, and this one has none. So let's do 4. So basically you kind of like collect the most. Whatever set has the most of a certain prime factor, you take those. So which one had the most 2's? Go down here, so we wrote down 2 2's. Which one had the most 3's? Well, this one, so we wrote down 4 4's. Now which one has the most 5's? Well, obviously the 500. So we'll go 5 times 5 times 5. And then you multiply that all out, and the lowest common multiple would be 40,500. So what does that mean? Well, what this means is that the first time, the lowest number, the lowest time that 18, 81, and 500 would all overlap would be 40,500. So if you were counting by 18s and someone else was counting by 81s and one other person was counting by 500s, you would all eventually say 40,500. And that would be the smallest number where your multiples would overlap. So just to review, for least common multiple, you'll factor the numbers, whether there's 2 numbers or 3 numbers, and then you'll collect the most of each factor, and that's how you multiply and find the lowest common multiple. And that's in contrast to the greatest common factor, where you just look where they overlap. So I hope that's a helpful tip for you, and if you have any questions about finding the least common multiple, or even just what multiples mean, please let me know.